What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with Amazon's earnings that's helping the market balance a little bit during the after hours, what data is going to be coming out for tomorrow that's very important, and how all of this could affect the charts going into tomorrow. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends in just 5 days from now, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the markets. So, SPY was down 1.2% for the day. It made an attempt to bounce in the morning, then ended up just failing. We rejected off the 5 minutes 200 EMA, and we continued to sink towards 411. Between 411 and 410, we have some strong support, and the buyers came in before the market started to sell off once again, and they weren't able to hold the market up. They tried to fight, and they failed, and the market ended up closing kind of weak for today. So we saw Tesla closing weak, QQQ was weak, Nvidia was weak. The market had a very, very weak close. However, there's a possibility that the market could see more buyers stepping in because not only are we kind of green in the after hours, but Amazon could be coming to the rescue because Amazon has some pretty good earnings and Amazon is starting to turn kind of green. It's up now almost 3%, starting to push a little bit higher towards its 200 EMA. If Amazon maintains this tomorrow and it starts pushing up higher, this could help the market to some extent. But it's not just that, okay? That's not the only piece of news. And once again, for Amazon, they beat on EPS and revenue. Just to clarify, you can see the numbers right here. EPS was a beat, and so was revenue. They beat on all of that, but their guidance was also strong, which is some good news for them. Apple also had a little bit of bad news. There was a news that came out that they got some price target cuts because of their iPhone sales softening a bit. So that was a little bit negative for the markets today. But as a result of this, I'm still hoping that Apple tries to recover a bit. But like I was about to say, something really big is still coming out for the markets. Tomorrow is PCE data day. That's like another important inflationary measure. So we have it right here for Friday. We have core PCE, and all these other PCE figures coming out an hour before the market opens. But remember, this is going to be for the month of September. And I have a feeling we're going to get a decent PCE report. And here's exactly why. When you look at CPI, right? CPI is another inflationary measure. It came out in the month of September already. For the month of September, the data came out, and CPI was aligned with expectations. CPI was, CPI for all items year over year was 3.7%, very close to the forecast. Core CPI year over year was 4.1%, which is aligning with the forecast consensus. And this came out on the 12th of October, about 2 weeks ago. Why is this important? Because PCE is coming out. It's going to be for the month of September. And we're expecting PCE year over year to be around 3.2 to 3.4%. I think it's going to be somewhere around 3.4% or maybe below that. And then core PCE is expected to be around 3.6 to 3.7%. I think it's going to be very close to expectations. Now, CPI came out very, very decently, came in within expectations. So there's a good chance we may see something similar with PCE. Now, on top of that, I just wanted to call out that the market became very, very fearful today. We're very close to extreme fear at the time of recording this, and we're starting to see extreme fear make up the majority of these indicators. But one of the things I mentioned to you all was that 410 is a very, very good buying opportunity for the long term for the markets, 4100 for SPX, non-financial advice, by the way. And with that happening, there is a chance we could see some defense within that area. There's a possibility of that. I also wanted to add that we have an interesting max pain of 423. I don't think we're going to get all the way up there. I really doubt that, but we could try to get closer. We have a 2.03 puts to call ratio, and we have close to 1 million puts or more than 1 million puts expiring tomorrow. So if I was a market maker, what I would do is I would try to sink the markets, get everyone to turn bearish, get the bears like this victory for a Thursday and also maybe for early tomorrow. And then I would try pumping the markets at the end of the day to just screw these shorts and cause some kind of short squeeze. That's what I would do if I was the market maker. Not saying it's going to happen with high certainty, but it's just a possibility. So just to be safe, guys, I can't promise anything about PCE data for tomorrow. There's always the possibility that anything could happen. That's why you need to be prepared. But I think there's a very good chance it's going to be a decent report. So I'm going to be very quick in this video. So Amazon is still holding up. As long as Amazon holds up, that's going to give the bulls some hope. And I just wanted to call out that the VIX right here, there's a possible head and shoulders on the 30 minutes time frame. It actually failed to break this high on the VIX. So if it's forming a head and shoulders and starts coming down a bit, this could be a bullish signal for the market. I'm just looking at the 30 minutes time frame. This could be because of the market trying to bounce and the VIX comes down. It's a possibility. But let's first start off with SPY, then I'm going to go through the other tickers. So what's going on with SPY? We have a slight bullish divergence on the chart. If we're bearish, okay, if we're really bearish tomorrow, you want to see a test 410. If we get a hot PCE, 410 is going to be key support alongside 411. If we're bearish, if we're bullish, okay, if we break 414, this thing has potential to make its way up to 416. We could see the 416 level being retested. If we get above that, you're going to be watching 417.3, then 418. What is more likely to happen to the chart, in my opinion? In my opinion, okay, I'm going to be open-minded. You never know what's going to happen with PCE, but because Amazon is green, because Amazon's trying to hold up, there's a chance that the market may drop a little bit and then bounce, or it could just try to bounce from here. We may see some buyers just try to give us a defensive bounce, just temporarily. I'm not saying it's going to last forever, just a small bounce because of all the puts expiring. Those market makers could get in the way. And we might see the market try to rebound a bit. It doesn't have to be a massive bounce. We could see SPY try to retest the 50 EMA at 416, then reject and trade sideways, and then maybe close a little green. That's what I'm thinking for SPY. I think that's the most likely possibility, but be prepared just to be safe for anything. Now, Tesla tanked all the way down to 203.5 in the after hours, but we formed a bullish divergence, which tells me we may see Tesla bounce very, very soon. What could help Tesla would be Amazon beating on earnings, which happened so far. And another factor would be PCE data. If we're bullish on Tesla for tomorrow, you want to see it break 212. If we break it, watch it come up to 215. And if that breaks, 218 is a possibility. If we're bearish, you want to see it break below the current level. You want to see it break below this 203 area and retest 200. I think that Tesla could drop a little bit more than try to bounce. And my best, prediction would be we try to push back up above 212. Because of max pain, because of how many puts are expiring, and because of Amazon beating on earnings and doing relatively well. Amazon is an absolute giant. It's going to have a big effect on the tech sector, and this will affect Tesla. So I'm leaning a bit more in favor of some kind of bounce, but don't forget, guys, we always have to be open-minded because sometimes unexpected things can happen. So be open-minded, but just know I'm leaning a bit in favor of some kind of bounce for tomorrow. For the IWM, same thing. We actually closed kind of green today, which is pretty interesting. We have a potential inverse head and shoulder structure. We could see this thing try to rebalance towards this retest of 165. If we break it, watch 166.7. I am leaning a bit more in favor of a bounce thanks to this structure and this thing retesting 165. But just to be safe, okay, let's see what happens with PCE data. Let's see how it looks, and we'll see how that affects the markets. All right, so we're going to be waiting for that. So far, so good from the other sectors. For Aapl, we're a little bit down because of some bad news and some downgrades because of declining iPhone sales, but we have a bullish divergence trying to establish. So if we're bearish, let's just say inflation is hot tomorrow, which is unlikely, but a possibility. You have to watch 165 as support. If we lose it, we're going to be approaching 164 and then 163.5. If we're bullish, you want to see it get above 167. You want to get above 167. Watch 167.37, the 20 EMA. If you break this, watch 168 as key resistance. If you get above that, watch 169 as another resistance, very close to the 50 EMA. What do I think Apple's going to do? Well, honestly, guys, be prepared for anything because economic data is coming out. But I am leaning a bit more in favor of the bulls, a little bit more in favor of them. I'm just leaning in that direction because of Amazon beating earnings and the bullish divergence that developed on Apple. So we might see a small bounce towards at least 167 going into tomorrow, and we could get very close to 169. For the QQQ, okay, if we're bearish tomorrow, you want to see this thing break below 342. If we lose it, 340 is coming. If we're bullish tomorrow, you want to see it get above 345. If we break it, we're going to be seeing this thing pushing and getting very close to 348 possibly. Which direction am I leaning in? Well, we have a bullish divergence right here on the MACD and also on the RSI. Don't forget, we have a nice tech beat. Amazon's doing very well, and with a high probability of us getting a decent PCE thanks to the fact that CPI was decent for the same month. There's a good chance that we might see this help the market rebound a bit, and we might see the QQQ make its way back up to 346. And if that breaks, 348 is a possibility. Don't forget there are lots of puts expiring. Nvidia, it's still kind of weak. It's just barely trying to turn green. We're going to be watching key support at 400. If we lose it, 398 and 395 are two supports. If we fall below 395, then 390 is a possibility. 390 is going to be the next level to watch down here. If we're bullish, watch 406. If you break it, watch this thing try to push up towards 409. Then there's going to be 412, 415, 418, and then we have 420. If we break 420, we're going to be pushing up for about 425, and there's a good chance of this thing trying to rebound. So which direction am I leaning in? We have a slight bullish divergence. I could see this thing try to get back above 400 and then try to push up for about 410. I think there's a good chance of that happening. And we could see a slight rebound tomorrow thanks to PCE and Amazon. But just to be safe, watch our levels and see if Nvidia could break above 410. Now, Microsoft has a bullish divergence. If we're bearish tomorrow, however, watch 325 as key support. If we're bullish, watch us get above 330. Right now, looking at the bullish divergence, I think there's a good chance we test 331 tomorrow. If it breaks, watch 334, and I think there's a good chance of upside. I'm leaning a bit more in that direction. For AMD, we came down quite a bit today. We came all the way down to about 93. But the thing about that is we formed a bullish divergence. If we break 95.63, I'm expecting this thing to push up towards 97.6 and potentially even 98. If we're bearish, you want to see it break below 92.5 and then retest 90. I'm leaning a bit more in favor of the bulls. I think that the market is, it's kind of oversold. It's due for a slight bounce. And don't forget that the VIX has that head and shoulders like pattern that could lead to downside for the VIX because of the market trying to bounce. The dollar index continued to push today, but you will notice that as time went on, the dollar started to slow down. We also had a bearish divergence developing on the dollar, which means the dollar may cool off a bit. And if that's the case, it could help the market try to bounce. Now, with this bearish divergence, the MACD is curling on the 4-hour time frame on the dollar. If it starts dropping a little bit more, this could help the market a little bit more as well. For Coinbase, we came down quite a bit, down 4% for the day, and there's not really much of a sign of a bullish divergence, but we have very strong support at 72. So I could see this dropping a little bit more towards 72, then bouncing and trying to make our way up to 78. That's a real possibility. For Google, we're down a little bit, but we have a slight bullish divergence after being very oversold. We could see Google either base around this 120 support and then bounce, or it could just try to get above 122.5 and push up for 125. It's got to be one of those two. The 10-year treasury yield is dropping a little bit, and that's a little surprise to some people. We had a bearish divergence right here. If this starts downtrending a little bit more, if we break below the 20 EMA and come down to fill this gap, this could help the market to some extent. Amazon is now up 4% for the day. At least, I'm sorry, during the after hours, it's up 4%. So if this thing maintains this high, keeps pushing, this could help the stock market bounce tomorrow. For Meta, we came down quite significantly, but we have a bullish divergence. I could see Meta bouncing. I would love to see Meta try to get back towards that resistance right here at 295. We could try to push up there, but we want to be watching to see if bulls step in. So I am predicting a bounce for tomorrow. I think that's the most likely possibility throughout the market. But I'm not going to promise it. Let's wait and see what happens with PCE data. We'll see how that goes first just to get more confirmation. But I am leaning a bit more in that favor. Once again, guys, there are lots of puts expiring. Those market makers may not want to pay out those premiums. Don't forget about that. All right, that's it for now. Thank you all so much for listening. This video was kind of quick. I was trying to be kind of fast today, so I didn't really use TradingView. But it doesn't really matter because I'm sure I gave my points across pretty efficiently anyways. So have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one again. Thanks again, guys, and peace out.